All right.
Welcome, guys. Welcome on back to Off the Record Podcast. I'm Allie Rayner. This is Natalie Ortiz, and we are your hosts. Now, you guys are gonna have a whole lot of fun with us, so you already should go ahead and hit that subscribe button, honey. Especially if you are new here, go ahead and just do it because it's about to be a time. It's about to be a little key. But honestly, so we love just talking about current events, shooting the shit. So if that's what you want, you're at the right spot. Okay. Now, we've got a few things on our agenda for today. All right, guys, so just sit tight. Of course, we're going to talk shit. That's what we do. So just you should already be ready for that. But we can also, like, you know, chit-chat about Love Island. We're definitely talking about Love Island. Very pressing, very, very important. We're also going to talk about some other things that we don't always love talking about, but we have to. We must, because that is just our reality right now. We have to talk about some politics. The Supreme Court giving Trump another win, basically taking away a good amount of power from the I hate saying this word, judicial branch. Taking power away from the judicial branch and instead giving it to the executive branch, which really throws off our checks and balances. So we have to talk about that. There's other things too. I'm sure I'm going to remember it when we get into it. Something else about
Drake.
Oh, yeah. Well, one more thing about the Trump thing. I think it was I was going to say, I was also going to just bring up that I wanted you guys to know a little bit more about like how these ICE agents are actually getting recruited. Yeah. Because I thought it was crazy when I heard. I mean, we've been suspecting. Yeah. But like I actually have found a little bit more evidence to support the fact that like, or the theory, the theory that these people are not actual agents. They have not actually been vetted or hired, like truly been through the normal selection process of becoming a ICE agent. So I think that should be something that we talk about. And then yes, we have to talk a little bit of shit about how, I mean, Drake has just been like falling apart lately, but more importantly, I love to find out that Rihanna is a good reason as to why Drake is such
crazy.
I mean,
a fuckboy.
Yeah, Drake, like I don't know how else to say that. Right?
It's such a flex to say that you got your heart broken by Rihanna, though.
It is, but it is, but it also at the same time it just cracks me up because it's like. It definitely sounds like she was running the entire show. Oh, hell yeah. And like he was just a second thought. And it's just so funny to me because like I don't know. Yeah. I just think it's funny the way that she moved like a man. But I'll explain to you guys what I mean when we talk about it, okay? So that's just a little bit of a teaser to let you guys know what we're going to be diving into for this episode. So get ready. Yeah. All right? All right, cool. So let's do this. All right, so if you have not been watching Love Island, where the have you been? I mean, it's been everywhere. Yeah. It is becoming like this whole cultural moment, and I can't even lie, I live for it. When she is the whole reason I ended up starting watching it again.
I forced her to watch the first a couple episodes here too, and then next thing you know, I'm on her Peacock account watching it because I had to sign myself out of someone else's.
We don't need the dusty ass account. We've got one all our own right over here. But yeah, dude, so she got me into it, and it is just so, like, it just really pulls you in. It's just so interesting. And it's wild. Like, so I was trying to describe to someone, and I basically said that I described it as an orgy train wreck, where it's like so bad that you can't look away at first, but then you start to like really get like attached to the passengers or the characters, and you're like, I gotta see it through. Like I gotta see who survives this train wreck. So yeah, but man, there was like ups, there was a lot of highs, a lot of lows, but there was also a ton of cyberbullying. I think this was the season that like really, it kind of spiraled out of control with the fandom. Like, what do you think? Because you've watched a while now.
So I was gonna ask you, have you ever, so I love watching Love Island. I have watched Love Island UK many seasons. I watched a few of the USA seasons before it was on Peacock. I forgot where it was before that. Hulu or Netflix. I don't know which one did it, but then I've watched the last couple of seasons on, like this one being the second on Peacock. So I've been watching. I'm very, very familiar with Love Island, and I've always loved it. This is like the first, or the last season of USA was the first time I think USA Love Island was really brought on the map, because otherwise it was always just UK.
Yeah.
USA sucked. Nobody gave a UK was the GOAT, and now I think it's flopped. Flip-flopped, yeah. But have you watched, like, were you really familiar before this season?
Not super familiar. I had watched. I just, like, had gotten super into it, like, a couple years ago. And I don't think it was I think it was the UK version. But it was, like, around the time that I was also kind of watching Temptation Island. So, like, I got into it. Yeah, a lot of islands. So I kind of got into it for a second. Yeah. I actually remember mainly the narrator being funny as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I just always love him. Yeah. But other than that, like, really didn't, like, care to watch the entire season.
I mean,
you know
there's
what I mean?
so
like,
many episodes.
I really got sucked into this one, though.
Yeah, so there's so many episodes, and so it does seem very daunting, but then once you're in it, you're strapped in.
Oh, boy.
Against your will.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think this
it's fun
season,
also. Like, every night, there's a new episode. I think that's so fun.
Yeah, I love it, too. And, yeah. But I think this season specifically, you're right, there was a lot of cyberbullying, but there was also a lot of I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, the cyberbullying, but like with a lot of people either love or hate specific people. I feel like with last season, there was a very good collective love of like the main islanders, especially the girls. Because they were funny as fuck, they were relatable as fuck, they weren't trying just to be in front of the cameras. And I think that the people who went on the show this season, I mean, they casted a bunch of influencers already.
True.
So they were already, and then seeing how successful that the girls and some of the guys got from last season, I think that's what they went into it with. And I was also watching a video about how this is like one of the first all Gen Z cast too, so then it's like brought up all the troubles with dating in Gen Z times and stuff like that, and like the stuff that they have to go through in their dating lives now, and how nobody was really willing to commit to each other in this season. It's like I was going into Casa Amor, there were really no established couples. Like everyone was still open, and that's one of the things that to me I was thinking like and then Casa Amor was only 3 days. It's normally a week. It was normally a week. And then the way that they did it, where they had Nick and Alondria like get voted off or whatever, you know, like have people couple, was weird as I don't know. It was just a whole weird experience because people went into Casa Amor, so you're supposed to be tested in your couple. Nobody was really
fully tested.
Fully even in a couple when they left. Like when they split up to go like they're separate. Like the only people who would have been fun to watch if they stayed together that long would have been Huda and Jeremiah. They would have been so fun to watch go through that process. But, you know, that got blown up so fast. But I think that there's the different characters now, or the different people, because we've talked about this. We both have pretty different opinions on some of these people. And I think it'll be interesting for you guys to hear both of our sides of how we both feel about it.
Yeah.
But I think we should start with...
Do you want to start about like with the last, like through the whole thing? Do we start with the winners?
What do you want to? Well, what do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about the certain people on the show?
Well, okay, I think that we can start off with...
Or we want to talk about the winners and then use that into segue.
I don't know. I guess I did. I was going to start off with the winners. But at the same time, I'm also like, you're right. Like, there is a good amount of that happened that we do need to talk about. So maybe we should lead up to the winners.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about, like, the couples and the characters individually. And then talk about the winners.
How we felt about them winning, yeah.
Yeah, or like the final four.
Yeah.
Because I definitely felt some way about the final four.
I don't even know who the final four was. I think I do, I don't even remember. But I just know who won because Love Island's Instagram posted it before the episode even aired.
Bro, I was pissed. I went on Threads and saw like one of the episode, like the first thing that pops up was like Ace and Shelly getting kicked off. Pissed. I was royally pissed because I was just about to watch the episode. Then yesterday, get home, about to, you know, wind down, go watch my shit, open up Instagram, first thing is Amaya and Bryan won. I'm like, a bitch can't even just wait. Like, I can't win for lose. I'm just trying to watch the damn show, trying to find out what happens before y'all tell me.
And the thing is on Instagram, I feel like they were posting so much this year where you didn't even have to watch the episode. So for me, I was watching, I was watching on one account, and then I like decided to log out of it, and then I was gonna ask her for hers, but I was just like, I wanted to wait. Oh, I don't know.
Because I was on vacation.
Yeah, she was on vacation and whatever, and then I was also like, you know what? I was also thinking like, well, I get paid on this, I can, you know, just get my own Peacock. And I was like, oh, but do I want to get my own Peacock account? Like, I don't know.
Please, so then help me make it make sense as to why I got this Peacock account.
So then, but then I was like, I didn't need to, because on Instagram I was so caught up. So then when I finally did get into her Peacock account, I didn't need to go catch up on the episodes because I had seen so many long ass Instagram clips about every single thing that happened, like the whole standing on your business challenge or whatever. I didn't even watch the episode. I just watched a ton of clips because they all popped up. I didn't have to. So again, I think Instagram just, I don't know what the they were thinking about, like who's running their social media page, because it was insane the amount of content that you could get without actually having to watch any of the episodes. Yeah,
they should have definitely rolled it out much differently. Like it should have been like, they don't say until the next day that it aired or something like that. Give me some time to watch it.
You want to hear people talking about it. Yeah. You want to hear people saying like, oh my god, and then this happened, and then this happened. Or like they'll post a little snippet, and then that's how you want to get more people to watch it.
Yeah.
I just think straight out putting out every single thing that happened in a million Instagram reels or whatever is just like, again, I didn't have to catch up. I didn't have to watch.
Who needs to download the app and pay if you can just go online and get all the details. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, I don't know. But another thing about it being so viral was the fact that I also felt like there was just so much hate. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. Some things I'm absolutely certain like producers were fabricating or setting up so people did look a certain way, or like I'm sure that they expected some type of backlash. But also, like, guys, some of y'all fans just do too much. Like the rhetoric, like, okay, there are people on there that I am not the biggest fan of, and you can probably even find me saying that online, but you don't see me ripping them apart. You don't see me like really like trying to devalue them or like just trash them as people. Like, I just felt like they just went really, really far. And then also I felt as though it kind of felt as though the fans had a little bit too much power, which, I mean, I do like that we can vote, but I also felt as though they were now starting to use like technicalities to get people voted off or dumped off before it ever even needed to be. For example, it was really frustrating to see the Islanders voting off people who were really trying and who were really trying to like evolve, or even just like people who were finding love connections.
It's called Love Island, dude. Yes. And then it's like, oh, you're closed off. Oh, you're not exploring, or like, what?
Yeah. And then it was also crazy because it was coming from people who were like pretty locked in on their partners. Like, yeah, they were technically exploring, exactly, but they weren't closing off. So like, for example, Ace was in everybody else's relationship. Yeah. Then whatever Ace went for, Taylor was right there behind it, agreeing. Nick, I love me some Nick, but boy, was that wish-washy. One moment he was supporting you, the next moment he's like, I think you need to get voted off the island. Like, they were just all over the place. I also was not the biggest fan of Alandria, Shelly, and Sierra always ganging up together to vote off girls who already found connections. Like, what? Like, don't get me wrong, I actually enjoyed, like, I really do like every single one of them as people, like watching them, everything, but I just really did not with how they moved for the elimination processes, because it just seemed as though they were always voting off people who could have been their competition.
Yeah.
And I think that you're right, that all of America was watching it and we're like, oh, no, you're not going to mean girl, or you're not going to strategize your way to the top, and instead, like, kick off people who are, you know.
And that's why
we're gonna take our reign back or whatever.
That's why I think, like, the results ended up the way that it did was because of the whole mean girl aspect of things. I think that a lot of people didn't like how certain people moved and how they acted and stuff, and I think that that's why was fussed over, and that's why, like, stuff. That's why I think America voted the way that it did, to be honest. Because, I mean, okay, where do you want to segue this into? Because I have a lot to say about all of it.
Well, okay, I wanted to start off first with, I think that Yelissa absolutely was supposed to get kicked off. I mean, yes and no. She wasn't really, like, I don't think that they really edited her into the show at that point for real, so we didn't really have a connection with Yelissa. So when they had, like, kicked her to the curb for saying something racial, you know, a racial slur, you know, and it was a pretty obvious racial slur. I was like, I kind of agree with them. And then also it was just interesting to see how, like, she acted on the show as opposed to, like, who she was on that podcast. I was like, who are these people? I almost didn't know that they're the same person. Like, I swear to you, totally different personalities, or anyway. But so I kind of understood that. The Sierra one, though, guys, don't get me wrong, I never am in agreement with, like, someone using racial slurs. I'm never comfortable with it, whatever. But I also kind of feel like y'all did not like Sierra, and I think that you guys went digging to find something to get her kicked off the show. And that was the one that you guys found that you felt like was going to hold the most weight, since someone had already been sent home for using a racial slur. So, not that I'm ever saying that what she said was okay, but at the same time, I don't think that it was nearly as horrible as people were trying to make it seem, or it warranted that type of reaction, personally.
So,
I didn't like her. I didn't like her.
I know, I didn't like her either. So the only thing that
Is that the door?
Oh, it's the fan. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm like, what ghost is coming in here? Like... It just gotta stay in one spot.
I know. We need a little air in here. Sorry, guys.
We definitely need some air, but I was just like...
No, so I watched this video, actually about someone, like, explaining it a little bit more. And I had to say that I do agree with him. He was saying, like, that specific word, too, is not...
I guess, yeah.
It's used to degrade Asians. Mm-hmm. Like, it is. It's like a degrading term towards Asians.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you think, like, maybe because we don't hear it.
I think that's probably why.
That's the thing is, like,
that's probably why I don't have a huge offense to it, because, like, the N-word you hear all the time. We all know it's, like, so powerful, you know. Whereas with this word,
as much,
it's not as common.
I also feel like
So you're right.
I've especially, like, coming from, like a Latin American household, I've heard it a lot. Really? But also in a different context, I guess, but I also learned early on that it wasn't, you didn't use it in, like, a good way or whatever. It's also the same. I don't know how to explain this, but it's like
almost, I don't want to say, but like,
yeah. So my grandparents used to, they had words to describe people, you know, and it's like they had a word to describe black people, they had a word to describe Asians, they had a word to describe white people, right? I feel like the white people is the only one I can say, you know, like, no, like huerito or whatever, which isn't necessarily a degrading term, but when you think about it in the context of what you would call someone that isn't white, then those terms are, so I've always learned, or I knew that it wasn't a term that I ever wanted to use. Just because I always didn't feel, and again, like, in Spanish, it's very similar to the N-word as well. You know, it's like just too close where I already always knew, like, oh, we're not allowed to say that. Mm-hmm. But even though I heard it being said, I just think, like, so because I've heard it in a degrading context growing up, not half as much as I've heard people use the N-word.
Yeah, or slurs against Hispanics and stuff. But I think that that is like I think you're right. I think that like I just have not been exposed to it, so I didn't really see like the gravity of it.
I think like it's you don't think of it as bad, but again, in my opinion, it's like when you're just using a word that again is used to describe a group of people and it's degrading. And she was also like talking about her eyes looking a certain way and like not wanting them to or whatever. It was just also like it's just so bad. Like
yeah, you're right.
You don't need to describe. You don't need to say it that way. And again, this was like a year ago.
Yeah. You're right. Like if someone were to say something, like for example, like if I were to say something about like my skin or whatever, and be like, well, you know, like sometimes when I tan, like I just look some Hispanic, whatever, like so insert Hispanic racial word. You know what I mean? It's like that's just you're not saying it in a positive way.
It's just like why for me. It's just kind of like why.
Yeah.
It's just like
I agree. It was more so like I just didn't understand like why she ever even like it's not it's not a word that I've ever really heard of that's like commonplace. So I'm also like, who the f have you been hanging out with, girlfriend?
That's why too. Like
what boomer? Like what boomer were you hanging out with? Because my parents don't say that. They're boomers. I feel like they would know about that word.
I've only heard like those types of like words used again by like my grandparents. Yeah. And so it's like to hear.
Yeah, my grandma would have said that for sure. But
so that's why it's like interesting too, where it's like when you hear what she said, and then some people are like, oh, like that's not a slur or whatever, but it's like
it is, but it's just not commonplace. Like it's not something that we all just walk around saying.
That's why it's just again, it's like I do think that you know she should have been here. Here's the thing, I do think she should have been voted off. I did hear though that Nick might have said something at some point, and then we know Austin is like Trumper and has said some racist shit too.
And he also had some weird reactions when Amaya said that her parents were immigrants. Like that was, he didn't do racial.
A weird reaction isn't have to. But it's like if we're gonna dig up stuff about people's past and then kick them off for it, I think that they should do it collectively across the board. Or literally vet these people better. I really don't know, but
it was from like, but that's why I'm also like the fans were like.
Also, I saw someone
detectives out there. They were flipping out.
Someone said something like, "Okay, these people are hot influencers. There's gonna be dirt on them."
Yes.
Like if they're hot and they're an influencer, they're not gonna be one of the best people that you ever met in your life.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things that I was just like, yeah, I get that. I'm sure that every single one of them has probably said some and whatever. But it's just like, I do think she should have got that. It was right for her to get kicked off. I do think it's funny that she did her apology video with like a jade necklace on or whatever.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, lordy. Lordy.
It's very much, I don't know. But I think she got voted off, and then she got to see her man fucking
get to second place with somebody else. With that explanation, I agree that it was like really bad of her to have said that. And yeah, maybe it could have been avoided if they did some other type of vetting or something like that. But I don't know. Like I wasn't like, I still think that they could have found a different way to kick her off. But hey, like I agree. If it's gonna be, we're following the policy of like no racial any racial slurs at all from anybody, then yeah, I agree. Then she did need to go home. And I did appreciate her apology though. Like it seemed like she was really, really like, what I said was really she pulled up like when someone else had even called her out about it years ago. And so like I think she had actually like changed the caption or took the post down, but like that's the thing, stuff lives on the internet for forever, so someone still pulled it on up and was able to be like, nah, this is you, girl. So just be more careful, guys. You just never know. Who knew you were gonna be on a dating show? And
I mean,
who knows? But
yeah,
you just gotta be careful, Okay, so now that that's out of the way, because I feel like that was a big thing. Like, Sierra going home was huge to people. Now, another thing was, I guess we can talk. Can we talk about like the winners now? I feel like that's everything, right? Or do you want to talk about some more about the characters real quick?
Well, we can talk about. I feel like let's talk about the winners because we're gonna talk about them as people.
Okay.
And then we can move into the other characters.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So, all right. So in the end, there's only like 4 couples that make it to the finale. So those 4 couples were Amaya and Bryan. And then next up were Nick and Alandria, and then Iris and Pepe, and Huda and Chris. Which was really, I can't even lie to you guys, I was so stunned to not see Shelly and Ace in at least the final 4. Like, Huda and Chris and Iris and Pepe were looking like, how the are we still here? Like, they were definitely confused as
I wasn't surprised.
Well, please tell us why.
I wasn't surprised because people didn't like Shelly and Ace from the beginning. So when it comes to America voting, yeah.
I feel like they liked Shelly, but they didn't like Ace.
No, because Shelly, here's the thing, is Shelly definitely had Mean Girl vibes, especially during the, but so stuff is coming out more that people have left the island, right?
Okay.
But people were upset because Shelly came off super hypocritical, like a hypocrite during the I
didn't like her stand on business,
whatever the stand on business,
like the one right before, like she aired her out on stand on business, but whatever the thing was before that, like it was something like
heart rate challenge or whatever.
Yeah, the heart rate challenge.
Were pissed about that because it was saying that she was able to go and do the most and whatever.
I
and
agree.
She
That
got
was
mad
bullshit.
that Ace did, or she was mad at Huda. But then she literally did the same and
went back
also,
twice for Chris.
And that's crazy. And then it was also like once, like, I don't know. So that people were saying that she was like Mean Girl and like being hypocritical and all that. And I agree. I think, I don't know. But at the same time, now it's coming out that Huda, like, because people were saying that during the heart rate challenge, producers had to have cut out because people's reactions to what Huda was doing was insane.
Right.
And people were like, there's no way. So Taylor and Clark had gone on a podcast. Ooh. And they were talking about, because they were asking like, what happened? What did...
Yeah.
Huda sat on Ace's face.
Oh.
Allegedly, I guess.
Okay.
She sat on Ace's face. And there's this one part where you can kind of see
turns
it.
around.
Where she turns around and her face is right, but it cuts immediately.
I was wondering. I thought that she just did reverse cowgirl and did some more twerking.
And that was one of the things that...
on his face.
But that was one of the things that why Shelly was so pissed after.
That makes
sense.
And
that's what I understand too. Is that
why did the producers cut it out though? I don't understand. There are some things that they cut out on purpose. For another example, that's a great one. Another one was apparently in the stand on business challenge or the stand on business whatever the that was. Apparently, there was more back and forth between Amaya and Zach. And Zach went on a podcast and was saying that, like, he doesn't really want to dive into it too much, but he said that, like, the things that Amaya said about him were incredibly hurtful. And he was, like, really upset about it. And also, him and other people have been saying that entire challenge was much longer than what
4 or 5 hours.
They said it was Andrena or whatever, however you say her name. She said it was 6 to 7 hours long.
That challenge is...
Why would it ever be that long?
I would be after hour 2. I'm pissed at everybody.
I am ready to fight everybody. 6 to 7 hours of us talking.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have been afterwards like, all right, which one of you hosts? Like, which one of y'all needs this work? Yeah. So there's so much that, yes, I feel as though the producers are trying to protect people, but at the same time, like, they're just playing with our emotions. I mean, and we should know this is reality TV. That's what they're there to do. And all, but I want the whole story. Don't just give me, like, how you want to create this character. I want to really know who I'm voting for and what the they've been doing. They also said that there was a lot more in that challenge where people were calling out Huda for lying about shit.
Oh, yeah.
About a lot of shit. Andrena was saying that, like, that was a majority of that challenge were people calling Huda out and trying to get to the bottom of to the answers or whatever. And so that's another reason why they were like, everybody tried to make it seem like we were mean girls and we were being awkward with her once we were done. They're like, no. Like, we had called her out on her lies. She deflected. And then afterwards, we were all like, why was she lying? Like, you know what I mean? So that's why you saw that division. But everybody wants to make it seem like Huda was just, off to her own. And she was just, girl, get the out of here. Huda is crazy. Another thing that pissed me off about the finale was the fact that Huda and Chris were there, and clearly they did not have a connection.
They did not.
Chris was so checked out. Like, I was looking like, what? Like, what is stopping Chris from just being like, and I'm out? Like, does he have to pay them back? Does he? Does he like get a better check by staying? Like, bro was in it just to be.
He could have been overseas playing basketball. I don't know how the hell he was.
Could have been dribbling and shooting hoops and yeah, dude.
Like, when you get out there, you're gonna have tons of puss.
Oh man, you already know. There's gonna be so many chicks that are like, I would never do you like the way she did, but. Yo,
shit, I'm one of them, Chris.
Congrats.
I'm just kidding.
And he's a beautiful man. He's tall.
He's so sweet. He seems
he's
like such a sweetheart too.
Yes,
yeah, for sure.
Huda is. I also like, though, one thing I do like about the final episode when it comes to them was that we were finally able to see, like, because people were online, like, I get it, we were all rooting for her to change, you know what I mean? I actually was hoping that, like, after the whole Jeremiah thing, she would just tone it down just a little bit. And it was interesting to see her, yes, not be so open to, openly call people names, like she was calling Jeremiah a bitch all over the place.
Crazy.
Oh, that shit was kind of funny, though. But yeah.
I feel like that was old Natalie a little bit. I
can't lie,
definitely called a dude a bitch time or two or 20 or 200.
But I also don't fault her for saying it in the bathroom. Like, who the was thinking that Jeremiah or anybody was gonna be walking by hearing me cussing?
No, but her
she
saying,
loud.
but she was also saying, like, you're a bitch. You're a bitch.
Yeah, there were times. There were times to his face.
Yeah, and she was 24. I definitely, I can't even say it. It's like, we act so grown because we're 30, bitch. Just a few years ago, we don't gotta remind ourselves what we were doing.
Ooh.
Because I definitely have been on that emotional train of being so emotionally overwhelmed. I had a very, very tough time controlling my emotions, and I would react and then not thinking about it. It was almost as if, like, I could see myself reacting, like, in real time and not be able to do anything about it. I knew what I was saying. I knew that what I was saying wasn't right. I knew that I was or, like, just overreacting or going crazy. I knew it, but I could not stop myself until, like, I couldn't stop myself. And then I would be able to look later, after I calmed down, I would be able to have a rational view of what my emotions were and how I should have handled that situation. Yeah. And it was not at all even close to, and then I would have to apologize. You'd have to take accountability at some point, or whatever. But then it's like, once you get triggered and you have an emotional trigger and you react, it's like, I don't know. It took me, like, I want to say, like, 2 to 3 years of constantly trying to work on my triggers and my reactions, and a lot of failing, and, like, that's one of the things that I would say about my ex that was good. Like, I think he was pretty patient with me, with my reactions, because I definitely learned with him how to control. That's the only good thing I can say about that relationship. But, something, it did what it needed to do for me, but again, it's like, I'm 30.
Right.
I was still reacting like crazy and, like, what people would call crazy, being really triggered and having huge emotional reactions 2-3 years ago. You know what I mean? And it's like, so it's hard to watch. It's so hard to watch because now it's like, you could see it and it's openly disrespectful. It's insane to call someone a bitch and to cuss at someone like that.
And then to expect them to turn around and want to be with you or cuddle with you or,
You want them to
like,
chase
what?
you. You want them to... And
yeah,
again,
and
like,
you're degrading them. Like,
but I get it. And I think that's
wait. Because I know you're
cooking.
I know you're cooking. But my thing is that I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I also know you. And I know that there's other things that you absolutely would not have done.
Yeah.
Poking somebody in the middle of the night to tell them to cuddle you, and then they don't do it, so you start counting 3, 2, 1, and then you threaten them and tell them, are you sure that you want to do this right now? Because either cuddle me tonight or be dealing with my attitude all day tomorrow. Yeah. Now look, don't get me wrong. I agree. You've had some emotional reactions. I have too. I have called a bitch quite a few times, okay? So I'm not saying that I don't disagree, or that I don't agree with that. But still, there are some things that even us as the most toxic of the toxic bitches that we were not doing. And that was absolutely not one of them. Are you insane? Counting down like he's a child. Yeah. You're really way too deep into mommy mode. And you got, and a lot of the men kept telling her, you're very dominant, like you want everything. And then also she's so hot and cold. So were you ever the type that, like, if there was a disagreement with old dude, you were just like, oh, so you just don't like me anymore? Like if he was asking you to have accountability, where you're just like, oh, so you just not even like me anymore, dude? Like, oh, and I guess we're just not together.
I don't think so. Like, I don't think out loud, but I definitely have felt, like, I have felt that way. I think it's taken me a minute to learn how to be accountable and take accountability. But I have thought that in my head. Yes. Where I'm like, oh, okay, so this person hates me. It's like, and they don't. That's not what they're saying. They just want you to stop doing the you're doing. And I'm like, they hate me. They hate everything about me. I don't ever really say that. Sometimes I feel it. And I would get quiet, but it's like, again, I get what you mean. Just say it. I get what you mean. And here's the thing is also about Huda that I think started off with red flags. So it's like, okay, the reaction stuff and having intense emotional reactions is I think the only thing that I can relate to her on.
Yeah, I absolutely can too.
But which is a lot things a lot of women can relate to. But you have to also, like, you're right, you have to also see all the other. For me, the biggest thing was her not wanting to tell anyone that she was a mom, or tell Jeremiah that she was a mom. To me, we've talked about this. It's in my, as a single mom, as a mom who has dated, I was single all through my 20s with my daughter growing up, and like, I always led with the fact that I'm a mom, because I understand that it can be a deal breaker for people. So this up front, so that, because here's the thing, it feels manipulative to have someone start to like you, and then you tell them this, you drop this thing on them. It's not something light, especially when your kid is little. You're gonna be stepdaddy, stepmommy, whatever, and it's like, that's not something that, it's something that someone should be able to consider when they're getting to know you. That is something that it's going to be a part of, because if you don't tell them and you form a connection with somebody and they start to really like you, and then you tell them, because it also sounds like she could have also guilt tripped him if he was like, oh no, like, I don't think I'm ready to do that, whatever. It would have been like, so you never liked me, so whatever. And that's and that it comes from a manipulative place where it's like, you want someone to get to know you first, to get to like you, so that you can drop this bomb on them, for them to less likely to leave you. Or you can twist it, and that to me was the biggest red flag. I've never ever led with that dating, or dating intentionally. If I was just trying to hook up with somebody or whatever, who gives a, like, you don't need to know about me, right? Whatever, I'm never gonna see you again, or what, you know what I mean, whatever. But it's like, if you're dating or you're trying to get to know someone, the first thing, or one of the first things you're gonna know is that, I have a daughter, and it is what it is. Because again,
why would I hide that?
Why would I want to be with someone who didn't want to be around kids, or didn't want to have kids, or didn't want to
And I mean, and like, let's be honest, like, Huda is a baddie. Like, she she could have came up in there like, I got about 6 kids, and like, I mean,
how many people do not give a that you
Not
have
a
a child.
Seriously, I think that there's so much rhetoric online, especially about like women dating. I just want you guys to all know that it's all. I want you to know right now, whether you're a man that will date a woman with children, I just want you guys to know does not matter, because there's plenty of men out there who will date a woman with children. There are plenty of men who will date a big bitch. There are plenty of men who will date a broke bitch. There are plenty of men out there to date all the women you do not want to date.
That you have a child, and if they do, go again. They have the right to with their life. Like, look what someone just sent me, and I'm gonna send this to her so she can put it on the screen.
I guess I'll just have to do what I gotta do.
I'm gonna screenshot and send this to you right now so you can fucking put it on there, because
please do.
Bitch, that is literally just what happens.
Yeah,
it's
you don't gotta lie, girl.
Okay, fine.
You ain't gotta lie, you ain't gotta hide. If anything, you need to get all that out there in the open immediately. Let's not waste no time. Because what would have made sense? Why would it have made sense for you to wait, be dating Jeremiah this entire time, y'all locked in, you're so tight, closed off, and then you drop this bomb on him, and he's like, I don't know. Like, would you have wanted to have invested that much time in somebody?
I would have been upset that you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
That you had a kid this whole time. Because it changes the trajectory of your relationship. Yeah. And again, a young child is like, so I feel like, so here's the thing, is you can also say a lot of things to make the situation feel different too. Because it's like, some people think, oh, okay, but also you've had this experience with your mom where you've met a lot of different guys that she was dating.
Oh, have I?
Ava didn't. She met one, and that was my last boyfriend, who I was with for 2 years, almost 3 years. And so it's like, sometimes people just let their kids around anyone.
Right.
But at the same time, for me, it was like, okay, I would tell them I had a kid. Most of the guys that I've dated or talked to never ever met Ava. There's no way. And then I have a timeline for that reason. You're not gonna meet her until, you and I have been officially dating for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
That has always been my rule. Like, it's just not, and so she hasn't met anybody. You know what I mean? Like, she met one person, and even then, he only saw me on the weekends when she was with her dad or whatever. So it was just like, he wasn't around. He didn't have to play stepdaddy. And here's the thing, is I make it very clear too. I think, like, if I'm interested in somebody and, like, if we're talking or whatever, she doesn't need a stepdad. Right. She has her dad. She has my dad. She has my brother. She has men in her life. She has her other grandparents on, her dad's side. She has men in her life that are there for her and that she's around. Her dad is actively in her life. Like, you're not gonna come over here and, like, have to help potty train her. You know what I mean? Like, she's 11. She doesn't want to be around us anyways, trust me. It's just like, so it's one of those things that it's like, I'm at the place now where it's like, I'm dating for me. Yeah. Not for, I mean, of course, I take into consideration, like, who I think I would want to even just be around her and whatever, and, like, also be a family. But at the same time, it's like, you're not coming in to be her dad. Like, that's never, you're not replacing her dad. He's very involved and, good. And that's how I feel. And again, of course, I want someone that is a father figure eventually to her, that we could be a family unit, and that, but more importantly, I want her to see her mom in a loving relationship, in a healthy, loving relationship. I want her to see me with a man that loves me the way that I deserve to be loved, and then vice versa.
And not based off of, like, oh, I need somebody
to he's great with kids. Role. He's great with kids. Yeah. But he
is as a partner to me.
It doesn't, or
vice versa, or even vice versa. So
that's just how I feel about that type of shit. And so we got a little off track, but
I agree with that. So so I just was really disappointed that Huda and Chris were there. I just wish that we had just voted him off.
Yeah,
like it didn't make any sense to me.
Should have been voted off
a long time ago. Long time ago.
Way before Jeremiah, to be honest. Even at that same point, send them both home.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, if we're gonna do that, then just send them both home.
But,
and then Iris and Pepe, I think I love their final date, but I was just still kind of like, I don't really know too much about either one of these. Like they were kind of like just supporting characters.
Sweet. I think they were both nice. Really sweet and nice people, and then I think they were both sweet and nice. So,
I still think that is gonna be so interesting. Like the relationships that grew on top of or after other relationships, that's gonna be interesting.
Because Pepe danced on the graves of others.
Yeah. So
funny.
So Hannah and Charlie were together. Then Charlie got sent home, and then Hannah's crying her eyes out. But then Pepe is helping console her. But then they start liking each other in like 2.5 seconds. So then she messes around with him, like the night that Charlie left or the night after. I think it was the night after, okay? Let's give my girl like at least 24 hours. So 24 hours later, she then hooks up with Pepe. Then Hannah gets sent home. Crazy turn of events. Then finally, Iris's TJ, JT, whatever the that guy's name, JT. Honey, when I tell you his personality was cardboard to me, so I could not have given two about him being sent home. So his ass gets sent home. Then Iris is crying her eyes out. Who's there but Pepe? Pepe helps, and then
so
they get together. He's a sweetie. He seems great. But and they're also in the LA area, so I'm like, we might run into those motherfuckers.
Also, Iris was so I feel like Iris was so nice and understanding with the Huda and Jeremiah drama.
She was.
She would have been better
if someone had called me a bitch during challenge, I would have waited until we were done and been like, oh, what the were you talking about? Like, I swear to God, I would have been like, I don't give a I just came in here.
The camera.
Girl, she would have been drowning in the pool. I would have been like, bitch, the one time y'all would have seen us up in this enjoying this pool would have been me trying to put her in a grave. Like, I swear to God, she would have had me up because it would have just been like, wait a minute, like, you don't know me. We're all here for the same show. Yeah. I did not come in here and go, I just want to kiss her man. I had to kiss every man in here. What? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would have been, me and Huda would have been working. They definitely did a good job at least finding the people who are non-violent on this show.
I know.
I'll tell you that. But anyway, so also we had the Nick and Alandria relationship that was built on other relationships. So Sierra got sent home. So Nick's girl got sent home, and you could tell he was heartbroken about that. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was gonna be a little bit happier, but honey, his whole demeanor changed for the rest of the show.
What?
You didn't think so?
No.
He seemed much more quiet afterwards.
Whoa, no. I
gotta rewatch it, but I just kept looking like, I think Nick is more so like just trying to stay. I think he does like Alandria. Do not get me wrong at all, but I don't think he was nearly as I think he was up about Sierra getting sent home.
Think so? I don't know. I think it tells a lot that he didn't leave with her. But
also I think the producers also, I think that they also cut out a lot. I feel like he probably said some stuff about it.
The producers cut a lot out about a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see him in Alandria, so I don't know why people like stan it so much.
Because, okay, so I thought
it was, I don't know.
Fell into the fandom online. I fell into the fandom. So they showed all these moments of them and the kissing challenges and the looks and all this. And I was like, okay, I see that, like, Nick was so into kissing her. Like, don't get me wrong.
I never see her ever. That's the thing I didn't see. It caught me off guard that she even entertained it a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't think that she really saw her.
Of course he was. Who wouldn't be?
Exactly. That's the thing.
But I think with her even just reciprocating a little tiny bit of it threw me all the way off.
I mean, I was here for it. I was for it. Because
I don't know. The way that I think that
every time he went to a challenge and he always kept pissing. He kept picking Alandria. I was like, oh yeah. Like he definitely is very, very attracted to her. But don't get me wrong, a lot of people kept picking her for each challenge. So I mean, to kiss. But I don't know. I was actually kind of for them, like, finally giving it a shot. I thought it was really cute, but at the same time,
friends, right? Or just
no. So
what happened? I didn't watch this. I didn't watch the finale. I've only seen clips because it got spoiled right in the beginning. So I just was like, I don't really have to watch.
That was so annoying.
And then I saw all the clips of all the dates also on Instagram, so I didn't even have to.
Yeah. Well, so okay, so Nick and Alandria did seem like they were giving it a shot. Like, so in the end, like, and I kind of like it for them because you do see a difference in how he was with Sierra. Like with him and Sierra, he seems still kind of like
a little late,
open to exploring, and he was a little bit more like
yeah.
He wasn't. I wouldn't say he was nonchalant, not at all. But I just felt as though like
laid back.
A little bit more laid back, yeah. And whereas with Alandria, you can tell that she made him nervous, and he felt a little bit more like, I gotta get my together. You know what I mean? So kind of like what his mom had been saying was she was online and she was like, you know, she from the jump was like, I like how he reacts to Alandria more than I like how he reacts with Sierra, because she was saying that she felt as though with Alandria he was acting more manly, he was acting a little bit more like masculine, and she was like, I think that he needs a woman that brings that out in him so he can stop acting so like a little boyish. Like he needs he needs somebody who's gonna kind of like, you know, keep him on his toes, like, you know, make him want to evolve a little bit more. And she felt like Alandria was the one. And I kind of, what was crazy was like Nick did not talk to his mom, but he was saying that, like he was saying that like Alandria was bringing that out in him, and I could tell like, and honey, one thing I will tell you about Nick, baby, he ain't never gonna let Alandria walk in them heels by herself, okay? He always gonna hold her hand, make sure she getting up and down the steps correct, making sure she don't fall into any cracks between the grooves of the wooden panels and all shit. Honey, I was like, okay, Nick, okay, because I ain't never seen him take that type of time and grace and all that effort with Sierra. Yeah. So I did stand them. I did think that they were cute or whatever, but I honestly did not think it was going to be like some crazy love affair like the fans thought. I just wanted them to really give it a shot. That's the only thing for me. But in the end, you know, I'm very, very happy for our girl Amaya Papaya.
Yeah, are you?
I actually am. I actually am. Okay, so so she says that because, to be totally honest, guys, me and her had a conversation. We were talking about the different characters on the show, or the different people on the show. And look, I just have to be honest. I'm not like the biggest stan of Amaya, not because I don't like her. Like, I think that she has a great heart. I think that she seems like a true sweetheart. It's just the fact that I also feel like she's a bit immature for her age. So we looked it up. She's about 25 years old. Yeah. I just feel as though like at some points she how do I explain? When she was first like getting coupled up with people and stuff, I just felt like she was having such like extreme reactions, and like she was just like doing too much too soon. And then when they told her, hey, like, I am interested in you, but I'm just not willing to move that fast or compromise my boundaries for you, like, she got super defensive. But I will tell you this, I think out of everybody on this show, she had the most character development, and that's why I'm actually really happy that she did win. But the truth is like, I still don't think that like she would be like my best friend from the whole show. Like, out of everybody, I'm like, fuck no, don't come anywhere near me. Amaya I could be cool with her, I could be cordial, but like besties, and you explained it the best. She was explaining to me that there's gonna be certain people in your life that you can be around in doses. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what it is. I think Amaya is terrific, but her energy, just always being like on 10 and always just being a little bit extra, I feel like would really kind of drive me a little bit insane. So I would need her in doses. But I think she totally deserves to find a good man. I feel like they on her so much and she felt so lonely. So basically, I just felt like, you know, out of everybody, like, she went through so much. Like, she was talking to herself in other rooms and, you know, like giving herself pep talks, and I just was like, okay, I'm for that. I'm for her being her own best cheerleader, and like, you know, and her character development 1000%. And so I think that out of everybody, she had like the biggest turnaround. She had the most character development. She actually, after like a few run-ins with the guys being like, you really like, you press up on me and it makes me feel uncomfortable, and you don't really respect my boundaries. After that, she then was going to people and being like, okay, before we start this, what are your boundaries? What are you looking for? And I felt like that's kind of how you kind of have to go into dating. After you've kissed a few frogs, or you've been the frog, you kind of have to sit back and be like, I do need to approach this differently. That doesn't mean that I need to stop being myself. Yeah. But I do need to approach this a little bit differently, because then I am just going to scare people off. I could possibly scare people off before they actually get to know who I genuinely am. So that's what I got to say about Amaya. But congratulations to my girl.
I absolutely loved Amaya.
She loves her. She loves her.
I mean, because, so for me, I do think that the immaturity that you see, for me, I just think of it as, I mean, slightly naivety, or whatever. Naivete, whatever. But it's just like kind of just being like happy and bubbly. And for me, we don't see that. And I've genuinely, like, I've had friends and like coworkers at Starbucks and stuff who have that energy where it's a lot, and I'm not like that, bitch. I am not like that. But it's one of those things where I love to be around them. And again, in doses, probably, because there's too much happy for this pessimistic bitch sometimes. I'm like, all right, can we just have a bad day, please? You know, or whatever.
Have a normal day.
But I think the thing that made me relate to Amaya the most, which also I think is why a lot of people like love her, is because as women we have been told that we are too much all the time. And I think that, again, for me, definitely, and then in my last relationship, that was all I was told was, you know, be quiet, you're like, I'm too crude, I'm too loud, like, I've been told I'm too much. I'm too emotional. I'm too much. And I dimmed myself so much in my last relationship. I didn't even know who the I was anymore. And I'm finally feeling like I'm back to being myself. Yeah. But I'm now back in the dating world and whatever, and I'm realizing that I am probably a lot for a lot of people. But at the same time, that doesn't like make me any less. And I think like that was the thing that we saw with Amaya. It was like we loved her, we love her personality, and then again it's like the wishy-washy, like her asking Austin, like, is this okay, is this uncomfortable, and then him flip-flopping and saying like, no, like, we're good, but then him telling someone else on the side, no, it's too much. It's like, she asked you. Yeah, you're right. She literally asked you. She asked Zach. She asked him about babe and baby. So then to hear after that he's uncomfortable was like, bro, like, are you kidding me? So I think that's, again, one of the things, like, I can be very loud. I'm very physically affectionate if I like you. Like, and that's one of the things that, so I bring that forward in the beginning. And it's like, and I have to say too now, like, you know, if that makes you uncomfortable, like, just tell me, let me know. Right. Or whatever. Right. Because, again, but it's like, again, they start telling you that you're too much in different ways. Like, the whole baby thing, or like, you know,
that was real ticky-tacky to me.
Not calling someone babe or baby, or people feel like you start to feel the red flags. And for me, when I start feeling like I can't show you parts of my personality, or I need to start changing parts of my personality to make you comfortable, then I'm like, then I don't think this is gonna work, because it's like, there are certain things that, yes, I do agree, be considerate, and also don't cross people's boundaries, but if there's also stuff that's like a part of who you are, I call everyone babe and baby. Like, I just do that too. Like, all of my friends are babe, hun, honey. Like, it is what it is.
But honestly, for me, the moment that someone tells me, like, yo, I don't like being called babe, I don't want to be called honey, to be totally honest, guys, at a point when I was younger, I would have been like, okay, I'm gonna fix that. But you know what, you got a good point, because now I just don't talk to those people. To be totally honest, I'm not gonna sit there and try to rewire my brain to remember that you specifically had a problem with people calling you babe growing up. Okay, how about this? I just won't call you Like, I won't call you nothing.
Yeah.
I won't talk to you again. So you do have a good point with that. You
See,
absolutely
that's why
do.
it's like there's certain things which again, it's understandable, and I can understand that if people feel uncomfortable with that, like, that's okay.
Yeah.
But again, like, it's a part of the way that I speak.
Yes.
I think now at this point in my life, and it's like, if it makes you feel uncomfortable or whatever, I mean, well, because, okay, we just had this situation where I was talking to someone who didn't like any type of pet names, and for me, I was like, okay, I understand, I'm gonna not do that, but I had to completely try to take it out of my vocabulary, because then it would just, like, it would just, like, slip up, as if I used the word dude, too.
Yeah, like, exactly. But, so, the thing is, okay, so, for me, I don't think babe and that kind of stuff I don't really care about. No, the things that I was talking about is more so, like,
just the
physicality of it. I felt as though, like, I kind of agreed with the guys that, like, Amaya got coupled up with people, and you could kind of tell, like, she just wanted to jump in their lap. Like, she just wanted to, like, now be booed up. And it was more of, like, okay, we still need to get to know each other. Like, obviously, I picked you. I think you're attractive. You sound fun. You seem like a good girl.
Yeah.
But I also kind of agreed with the whole, like, we don't need to be kissing immediately, girlfriend, you know? Or we don't need to be, like, booed up, hugged up, you know? So those kind of things, yeah. I agree with. I think small stuff like nicknames, that's stupid. Yeah. That's ticky-tacky.
That's why I thought Ace was weird for that. I mean,
yeah, he was hella weird. Especially the way that, like, he was, like, it was just so
But
confusing.
at least he was upfront about it versus Austin and Zach being weirdos and lying to her face because they didn't want...
Yeah.
Again, we talked about this a lot. We're sacrificing your comfortability to make someone else comfortable is what we're not going to do. So if that means that you're going to be in an uncomfortable conversation because you're... Like the one with Ace, right? He's going to be... That's now an uncomfortable conversation because he was like, I don't like this.
Right.
And he set his boundaries. But... he's not going to sacrifice his comfortability for hers.
Right.
And I appreciate that 1,000 times more than Austin and Zach being like, no, you're good, because they don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation. Yeah. But now they're like, oh my God, now I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah, they were being bitches.
If anybody, man,
they were being bitches.
I don't understand.
I totally agree. I felt like the one thing that I was with Ace on was when they were arguing and he's trying to get his point out and Amaya just kept jumping over him, jumping. I was like, Amaya, girl, like, for you wanting to have a conversation with somebody, you're really not letting them have a conversation. But then we also saw it too when she went up to Shelly to kind of check her or whatever, and again she's asking Shelly, okay, well, this is what I saw, and we had a conversation, but like, I'm trying to understand, so explain. And then Shelly tried to explain, and then Amaya's cutting her off, like that kind of stuff. I was like, Amaya, you do need to take accountability. I wish you could watch yourself in these scenes and be like, okay, I need to say something to make my point, and then I need to shush. And don't get me wrong, I also have a problem with that at times.
It's hard too.
It's very hard, but...
And imagine us at 25. We act like we're so grown because we're 30 now, bitch. 29, bitch. I was...
Bruh, I would have been... oh my God, I would have been a mess. But
we have to... I think from watching Love Island, which is crazy, I think we just have to give people grace.
I can't even lie. I feel like I learned a lot from Love Island. I really was.
We would have acted the fuck out at their age.
Absolutely.
Being on a reality television show.
Without a doubt.
We would act out now, bitch. That's why I'm like...
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
Or we'd just be in the corner watching pop. No, I feel like we would maybe stir some shit.
Oh, we would be stirring the shit. We would be stirring the shit. People would be so mad. Especially because, like, we are not ugly. So it's not like we'd be sitting there like, oh, I don't know who's going to pick me. Oh, bitch. Please. Anyway.
When Andrena was like, I'm taking your man. She pointed to the cameras. Everyone was like,
yo, everybody at home was like, let me go find my man. Like, let me go make sure he's okay. Yo, Andrena is fire flame emoji. I mean, she is out of this world beautiful.
Out of this.
But
her
body, teeth, face matching. But personality is kind of quiet, kind of not there. A lot of people said that. A lot of the guys were saying that, like, she was fire to look at. Not the best to talk to. And I don't know, it could also been the language barrier though.
But I don't think that she didn't meet anyone that, like...
Well, I was going to say that, like, I think that she might not have also been, like, as fluent Like, I don't know. Was she fluent in English? Because I couldn't really tell.
I think she was fluent.
Was she? Did she have an accent?
I mean, yeah, but barely.
I still think that there's going to be a barrier. Like, who you are in your native tongue is not exactly who you are in a different language.
I think if you've spoken enough English, like, throughout the years, I think it's
I mean, did you see any scenes where she was really having a deep conveation with anybody?
I think
anytime I saw, she was just kissing
in general. I don't think it necessarily has to be a language barrier.
Look, I don't know. Look, I'm trying to give her an out. You think it's just her personality? All I'm saying is that, like, she was gorgeous to look at, but, like, in terms of riveting conversation, engaging storyline,
but it's also like, look at the dudes.
Not there.
Look at the dudes there too. I don't know who knows that they had that much.
I mean, I feel like I was entertained off of Ace, Nick, Taylor. Who else?
Even
a little bit Austin, barely Austin. Honestly, I wanted Austin to get the out. Yeah. I can't even lie. I wanted Austin gone.
He finally did, well, because then all the Trumpy came out about us.
But I just didn't like Austin in general. I was just like, what are you here for? Like, you're not really caring about these bitches. I mean, the only person he did like was Jaden. So I was like, okay, that's finally something. Finally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's a decent amount of people who had good personalities, and I just felt like she just, or it could have just been editing. Who knows? I don't know. I don't give a f about these people. Anyway, congratulations to Amaya and Bryan.
I genuinely hope they work out. Me
too. I really do too. I love how he stood up for her.
I do too. I think that was very admirable of him.
It absolutely was, and he just seemed like, he just seemed like a sweetie, and that he did like her. I also think
that it healed a little bit of every one of us, to have to stand up for her, for sure.
Absolutely. It definitely took balls to stand up in front of everybody, especially being a new person and being like, hey, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
That's perfectly normal in my culture, in our culture. So just so you know, might not be your cup of tea, but that's a lot of other people's cup of tea. And I was like, okay.
When you think about it, it's like, how many of, like,
I like that.
How many, like, in like, Latin families, like, Latino families say, like, mi amor, like, have all of these pet names for each other. Muñeca, cariño, like that, like people, Spanish is a love language.
It absolutely is.
So it's like, of course, the way that you speak and the way that you speak to people is just filled with love, because that's just who. And
I mean, the whole culture is about family, and so all of that,
it is very much a cultural thing. Like,
without a doubt. Yeah.
So him standing up for her was.
That was fire.
Chef's kiss.
Yes, it was. So shout out to him. But all right,
gotta move on.
We have to. Dark. It is getting so dark. We gotta wrap it up. Okay. So next up on the list. Okay. So we had to talk a little bit about the that's been going on with the Trump administration. Like we always have to do.
I hope that 7 minutes.
Okay. All right. Let's make sure that we can get it in there quick. Okay. So, all right. The thing that really stood out to me recently were like two things, but the first one was the fact that the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Trump administration basically having more executive power. So what had been going on was Trump was putting through these executive orders left and right, and the only way for a lot of these courts to stop them were putting injunctions up, and the lower courts would put in an injunction, and it would end up actually stopping the entire executive order for the rest of the country. And so the Trump administration really started getting pissed off with that, because that kept happening a lot. So this then went to the Supreme Court to rule if these lower courts could even cause this type of delay or an injunction, and see if it was possible or not. So that's what happened. So and basically the executive orders that were coming up to be challenged were the layoffs for the education, or for the Department of Education. So there was a layoffs for the Department of Education, and there was also the Birthright citizenship executive order that Trump put through, where basically whether you were born here or not was not going to allow you to have citizenship. Like if the child of immigrants, whether they were here legally or not, Normally, if you were born on American soil, you are now an American. So no matter what, you cannot be deported to your parents' country of origin. Well, Trump wanted to put an end to that, so that like even if you came over here, you had your child. Girl, don't even get me started. This is why people don't need to be in my chat GPT. Annie.
No, if you saw my dude Sam,
I'm like, let's just go ahead and finish. And he was. The answer was yes, he was. 1,000% was. Alright.
Okay. Your whole history is
I am literally never showing you that again.
You want to see mine?
Yes!
Okay.
Cause the
I'm nervous. Well, what is
Yeah, let's get to chuckling. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Keep putting okay. Mixing alcohol with my antibiotics.
I didn't even know what that word was. Okay. Alright.
I'm like
it's not that bad. It's not bad.
Flirty chill boundaries. I'm like, how do I set boundaries?
Okay, it's not that bad. Alright, fine. That makes it feel a little bit better. I gotta rename the titles because the bot does that. But at the same time, I don't like starting a new conversation with them because I feel like sometimes it resets all of their memory. So I like just keeping the same. So that's the same one for like forever ago. I don't care about that motherfucker anymore.
Yeah.
Which is so me.
Yeah, moved on.
So me.
Yep.
Anywho, okay, alright. So yeah, basically, those are the things that were being challenged. So it went up to the Supreme Court to see what was going to happen. Okay, so basically what happened was, let me see, seeks to limit. Damn it! Oh, that's what I wanted to scroll down. Aha, there we go. Okay, so. Okay, so in the end, so it was brought to the Supreme Court. This whole case was brought to the Supreme Court where basically it was Trump versus Casa Inc., where basically they were asking the Supreme Court to decide whether or not these lower courts could put injunctions on executive orders, stopping them for the entire country. Now, it ended up being that majority ruled that they believe that the lower courts do not have that authority. So they're basically, it was like the entire Supreme Court justices, except for two of them, I always say her name wrong, Amaya Bryan, I believe, and Sonia Sotomayor were the only ones who were dissenting against this. They were the minority on this. Everybody else voted in favor of this ruling. So basically now the lower courts do not have authority to impose nationwide injunctions unless absolutely necessary. So district courts can only block executive actions for specific plaintiffs, not the entire country. So, which is wild. So every single person who would be affected by this executive order has to go get a lawyer, has to then go file to the court that they feel as though their rights are being imposed upon. And what's also really scary about that is that I believe that also means that if just one plaintiff comes forward with their case, and they win, it does not necessarily create a precedent for the rest of the nation. It only applies to that one individual.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy. So universal injunctions were now banned. Lower judicial power is now weakened, and it strengthens it lowers the judicial power and it strengthens executive power, which is really scary because it throws off our checks and balances. There's a whole reason that we have the executive powers and the judicial powers and all of these things. So it definitely throws things out of whack. And then you also have legislative power as well. So plaintiffs can still file class action suits, which is probably better for all of us if we all join together and do a class action suit to impose broader injunctions.
Yeah.
But that's longer, it's messier, it's just not easy at all.
Yeah.
It's not a simple thing to do. So it just sucks. It's just terrible. It's just terrible that now the Supreme Court is basically saying, like, yeah, we're riding with Donnie. Like, no matter what, if he puts an executive order in, we're not going to allow anyone to stop him until it comes basically back to our court.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Now, this also is scary for those who have birthright citizenship. So what was happening was, basically, it was getting blocked by district courts for, okay, how do I say this? Birthright citizenship, the executive order of it, the executive order for birthright citizenship proposed by Trump was getting blocked nationwide by district courts. But because of this ruling,
It's not gonna get blocked. It can't get blocked anymore.
Yes. Yeah, so now it can only be blocked for individual plaintiffs. Again, it can only be, like, only one person can be like, okay, well, I'm going to go sue the government, and, you can't take away my right as a citizen. If it's found that their right,
then it's only for them.
Then it's only for them. Everybody else has to then go file, which is insane. So
ending birthright citizenship is insane.
Like,
it's insane.
Absolutely
we're literally
insane.
We're like not even that. We're literally like still a newer nation compared to all the other nations.
Yeah, like, what are we doing? Like,
so it's like
a few hundred years old.
Insane.
Like, it's
that's happening. That's literally so insane.
Yeah. So now, and this also affects the Department of Education. There were supposed to be mass layoffs, and for a while they were able to stop this because they were like, you have to have a process, you have to get votes, you got to do all this stuff. And now the Supreme Court has also removed the block on Trump's plan to lay off 1,400 federal employees.
Yeah.
So that is also really unsettling. And yeah, so the dissenting voices were Justices Sotomayor and also, I feel like it's Katajane. Is it Katajane Jackson? I thought it was Katajane Brown. I could be completely wrong. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta look it up again. Let me just double check because I don't want to be wrong. I don't think there was 3. I thought there was only 2 people who dissented. Dissenting Supreme. Was it really 3? Oh, my bad, guys. I really thought it was only 2. There was 3. Okay, so it was Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Katajane Brown Jackson. Oh, thank God. Because I was like, am I really butchering her name right now? Woo! Especially because she's like one of the only black women on the goddamn. I was like, please don't take my black card. So, okay. All right. So we're good. So, yeah. So there were the 3 that actually were dissenting. And they just warned that limiting injunctions hands unchecked power to the executive branch. No, but that's just crazy. Justice Brown Jackson called it a wrecking ball approach that could quickly destabilize federal institutions. And I absolutely agree. I mean, like, and on so many different levels, it is just scary. Like, it's so scary. It's definitely feeling like a dictatorship more and more. And the thing that's like the most unsettling is like, because you feel like you grow up with like these truths, right? Of like these facts of like, okay, we the people, it's for the people, by the people, for the, you're like, okay, so they gotta listen to us.
It's for the white man, by the white.
Exactly. Then you're like, okay, then I can rest assured that there is gonna be checks and balances. And it's like, well, funny you should say that. That's not gonna happen anymore. I mean, it's just one thing after another.
Because we grow up thinking that, right? But when you really, really look at it, our nation was built on stolen land, so by genocide.
Yeah.
Our also nation was built through slavery. So it's not so, when you really think about it, this is not surprising. It's just not.
You're right.
Like, the way that our nation was set up, was off of the backs of Native Americans
and blacks and Asians and Hispanics. If we're gonna be real, a lot of the main reason that a lot of people like the main reason for the Civil War, people want to hem and haw about it, whatever. No, it was slavery. It was, how are we going to give up all this free labor that we're benefiting from? We went and took these people, we got them for either free or for the cheap. And now we can own them like property. And so we have fields and fields of land. How are we, us few white people, how are we going to take care of it? We can't. And also we
pay them?
Are not comfortable living in these type of conditions. Right.
And then we can't pay them. What is it, the 3/5?
Yeah,
and then, so it's like, when you, again, and then you
crazy.
also have to think about it. It's like, yes, of course, we have progressed in time. But segregation was still a thing,
dude.
How many years ago?
I heard this fucking
from
crazy
our parents,
dude. Yes,
like,
but get this. There's also the fact that like slavery itself is not even that far removed.
Yeah.
Can you believe? I read some crazy quote. I gotta pull this back up again.
Find it, yeah.
Dude, it was some crazy quote talking about like it was some crazy stupid, like Thomas Jefferson and Harriet Tubman were alive at the same time.
Yeah.
But Harriet Tubman and Ronald Reagan were also alive at the same time.
Yeah.
And that blew me the fuck away. So I gotta really look that up again.
It really shows you, like, again, like how we don't, because we don't actively, we are actively seeing racism, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like, because we're not actively seeing, like, slavery and the way things were back then, it's hard to think about how far back it was, or how soon it was, or whatever. Like, that it wasn't that far off. And so it's not surprising, because we're not so far removed, and now, again, everything that's going on is just making people that are racist and that are bigots and misogynists more comfortable coming out and speaking out about it, because Donald Trump is one. Yep. And it's like, so of course they're gonna, and it's showing it, it's okay, you can be the president, you can be racist and you can be a president. And so it's like, you can be a rapist and be a president. And so it's just showing, I don't know, again, it's hard to be surprised that, of course, like, that this
I'm sorry, guys.
Going on.
I'm sorry. I was off about the quote, but I mean, it's very, very close. Okay, so Harriet Tubman died in 1913. No, actually, I was correct. Harriet Tubman died in 1913. Ronald Reagan was born in 1911.
Yeah.
Like, really, really let that sink in. The way that we are taught about, like, slavery, and it sounds like it was such a long time ago, to a lot of our grandparents, no, it was not.
It was yesterday.
It really wasn't that fucking.
In the grand scheme of how
their
long
parents were all about slavery, because they probably benefited from it. Understood that there was a time where it was very beneficial to them. So yeah, now it makes sense as to why Ronald Reagan was a piece of crazy, bro.
So
fucking
I mean,
crazy to me.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, again, it's surprising because it's inhumane.
Yeah.
And because we don't think that way, because a lot of us don't think that way. Right. But so that's why it's surprising. But when you look at it and you look at the timeline of our nation, you look at what our nation was built on and who it was built for. Don't forget that. This was not built for us.
True.
It was built for white men.
But let's also be very clear. When slavery was then abolished, who the do you think that they were turning to? They weren't turning to another white man and being like, okay, we got to get in the fields now. They were like, let's open up the borders and let all the immigrants come on through. Don't get me wrong, there was plenty of European immigrants, okay? And we can't act like they weren't treated like for a while. All right. However, there were still plenty of other races that came on over here and built the country that you guys are trying to say that are only for you, that should only be great for you and yours. That Because this country would not be here if it wasn't for all the immigrants that came along. So, man, get the fuck.
Let's see how many people really appreciate voting for Donald Trump once their healthcare gets taken away.
Buddy, that's another thing.
So,
a lot of you motherfuckers out there are boo-hoo crying. Now all of a sudden you don't understand why people don't have sympathy for you, or even the that have the audacity to be like, well, I voted for him and he didn't do any of the that I voted him in to do. Bitch, did you not see any of the that he was saying did you not listen to us when we said there was Project 2025? There's someone in particular that I actually want to pull it on up. Let me see, because he had me up. He had this take and I was like, oh, no, not you. Just like, no, not Candace Owen. No, bitch. Get back on your side of the road,
Andrew Schultz?
I think it was him.
I think it was him. Talking about regretting voting for Donald Trump or saying that I didn't. Yep, I literally saw that too.
And also, I think Joe Rogan's now also making a flip-flop. No, sit right the fuck where you're at.
For me, very much, say it with your chest.
Say that with your chest.
With your fucking
and say it to him. Don't go to us and be like, wow, who knew? Bitch, all of us. All of us.
That's why we didn't vote for him.
You all acted like we were idiots.
That's not the only reason, but
get the out of here, full of Where is this because he had me up. And then we'll close this whole down. But that really pissed me off. Where is it? I could have sworn I commented.
You see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for. Yeah. I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back.
What?
I think that just shows you genuinely, like, ignorance. Like, literally people that don't do their research on politicians or whoever, like, that passive consumers of media, right? Who hear things and are like, oh, okay, cool, he says he's gonna do that, and I saw that on Fox News, so of course, okay, I'm gonna vote for him. Did you look at the things, the bills he said he was gonna pass? Because he's doing it.
Yes.
And he's literally doing what he said he was going to do.
He tried to separate himself from Project 2025. And we kept telling all of you guys, no, he's not separated. He told you all, oh no, I mean, like, I didn't create it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but the people who funded his campaign and then also ran his campaign did. So y'all, like, the thing that's also crazy to me is that we also told you guys he was a liar. And we had proof of him being a liar. And you guys still didn't want to believe it. We gave you proof that he was a sexual predator. Y'all didn't want to believe it. We gave you proof that he's actually not a good businessman.
They believed it. They just don't give a
Don't give a And guess what? That's why nobody has any sympathy for you. No one is going to applaud you for now seeing the light. Yeah. Bitch, you should have been seeing that, okay? What you need to go do is you need to take your little goofy ass and turn on the camera and go, you know what? I up. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't listen to anybody. And you know what? I was wrong. And also, I don't support anything that he's doing right now. I will now start supporting those who are going to take him and his administration down. I encourage all of you to do the same thing. I encourage all my supporters to back me up in this. And let's all go ahead and collectively agree that we up. We're going to change our mind. We're going to take accountability. Yeah. But going on here and being like, I don't know.
Crazy.
I didn't know. I heard. He said there was a lot of shit that I want him to do, and there was a couple some things like sending back immigrants. You were okay with. You were just okay. Why? Because you didn't think that it was going to affect you in any way. Okay, well, you must not eat vegetables at all.
Yeah.
You must not eat at any restaurants. You must not go to hotels. You must not. And the list goes on and on. You must not use the railroad system whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. You must not drive on highways and roads. You must not do a whole lot of because all these things were built and taken care of and maintained by immigrants.
Period.
Are you okay? Are you cool? Like, seriously.
Clearly not.
Whew, sorry, had to get that one out the way before we get on out of here because that noise. Yeah. All right, this has been a long pod. I don't know. Should we wrap it?
I think that's
okay. That's a good one. There was plenty of with some other we could have said, but I think that's plenty.
I think we're good. Yeah.
I think we're great.
I think we've gotten the gist of this week for now.
I'm now triggered, so we can go ahead and leave. Yeah. All right, guys. Seriously, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate all of you guys. We love your opinions, unless they're trashy. And then I'll just go ahead and mute you. But, you know, I'm kidding. No, like, I kid, but I don't. Like, if you really come in that comment section trying to toot Trump's taint, you've got me up. Dead ass. Okay? The beauty of owning your own All right, guys. Well... Make sure that you guys join us again for another episode of Off the Record Podcast. You can also watch us getting down with some gameplay as well. So go check out Off the Record Games. And like I told you before, you need to be hitting that subscribe button, babe, because we have even more content coming your way. Yes. But we'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Allie. This is Natalie. And this is Off the Record Podcast. Bye, bitches.